All right, James, thank you so much for putting yourself out there. Like we say at Veteran Hiring Solutions, people don't follow companies, they follow leaders. So if we could, tell me a little bit about yourself, your Navy career, and what you've been doing at ETI since you transitioned over there.
Okay. So I'm James Beto. I've formerly been in the Navy in the Navy nuclear program. I was a machinist mate it's a 6-year contract. And so I did that tour with them on the Enterprise, and that was a real fun ship. Um, I was there just as it was decommissioning. And then when I got out in 2013, I jumped ship to this company in South Alabama, which was new to me. I'd never been to Alabama. A lot of culture shock, like the accents and everything. It took a little time of adjusting. But since I got down here, there's a company, they do uh, personal protective equipment, and it's called Orex. That's the name of the fabric. And the fabric itself is made out of a polymer that dissolves easily in water. They've modified the polymer so that it has to be dissolved in super hot water. And they'll take it to the nuclear plants. They'll wear it during their outage. They'll get all contaminated, radiologically speaking, and then they'll send it back to our facility. Our facility, we will do a chemical hydrothermal liquefaction under chemical oxidation and transfer it through filtration and then do thermal oxidation. And so at the very end of the process, we've taken that polymer, we stripped away the radioactive nuclides, and then we have water vapor and air. For the most part, it's just, you're going to see, in your waste stream, you're just going to see a little bit of carbon dioxide increase and a little bit of water vapor, and then it's just normal air. So it's a really cool little
Yeah.
process. Now, we're not the only country with nuclear plants that wants the polymer.
Yeah.
When I got on, that's what I was doing. I was building out mobile or modular systems to send to other countries. And so I've been either improving the operations there or designing other equipment to go to other nuclear plants since then. And that's majority what I've been doing in the years.
This is an engineering role. If you didn't hear James start talking about what they do. And one, it's in Dothan, Alabama. So let's get the location out of the way. But two, we're calling it a project engineer. This is a growth position because you are continuing to grow. You kind of want through the Orex product, but what else? I mean, what is this project engineer going to be doing? What part of the team are they? Part of the mission?
So I'd like to put somebody in this position that can manage to do design of the systems. And so that includes everything from the mechanical. We have a mechanical drafter, but I'd like to do somebody that handles the mechanical understanding of, like, maybe the PID, the electrical diagram, the PLCs, and then even the construction phase. Because to the extent that we can, we do outsource a lot of that construction, but we do have a lot, and we do a lot in-house. So we'll be doing a lot of building in-house. But the role would be somebody that's going to have his hands in much every one of those pies in the process we've gotten a solicitation from a customer that they want a design, and we're going to say, okay, we'll go template your site. They'd be a part of that. And then we'd build out a design from there. And then we'd come up with a plan. Hey, we'll deliver it in ever so many months, and then we'll commission it. And
I think there's something important as you
process in
talk through
between.
this. We started to talk about the suits, right? These are clothes that you're wearing them.
Yep.
But then we're talking about metal fabrication. So what is the product that's going to these nuclear sites? It's the actual container that the Orex suits go into?
Okay. So for instance, all the plants in America, they send their suits back to us, and we process them in the Dothan area. And then as far as like the international plants, so the ones in China, we're trying to do it in the UAE, the ones we're trying to do in the other places, those I'm going to send a system to them to get rid of to do the chemical oxidation, the filtration, and thermal oxidation. So that's going to be the part. I've got to fabricate it for them, because there's a little bit of a difficulty sending radioactive material across international borders. It's expensive. It's not impossible to do, but there's permitting, and it's just not the path most people want to go down because of the cost.
Yeah. You're like, I'll just build it for you. The nuke way, right? I will just build it for you. I love that. Well, you talked about, so they have to have these ability to read the schematics, the diagrams, the PLC sides, understanding how they all interact. So you have that hard engineering,
Mhm.
and then are they gonna be kind of like quasi project manager with that, where they're kind of managing the process and overseeing the process from that initial
Yep.
on site to the build?
Yeah, ideally, yeah, that would be they. I'd give him if they can take on the responsibility. I would give them as much leeway as they could to own the project themselves.
Your engineer, right? So the diagrams, the
Uh,
schematics, how everything works. Then your project manager, but then you also have to understand operationally, how does this get installed? How does it
uh-huh,
interact? So somebody that comes here
uh-huh,
can, if they really have that technical acumen and they're willing and they're a communicator, they can learn all this stuff as they
uh-huh,
grow and with you, right? There's a lot
mhm.
of that. Not that it's a heavy travel role,
So,
but you have
so
that
one,
ability, and that's what's really cool.
uh,
Like if you can't tell, James is a great guy to work with, great partner, and
and
extremely intelligent. So if you're talking to somebody coming right out of uniform, like that Navy nuke machinist made, electrician made, whoever, or somebody that has a technical background in uniform, right? They don't quite know, right? They haven't sat in the seat. They don't. What would you say to them? Or hey, these are the capabilities I'm looking for that if you have them, you should apply. Is there any like breakdown? Like, hey, if you don't have this, sorry, it's just you're not a safe hire, right? Like, how would you talk to them?
no, I don't. I would think that that would be if like for instance, if you have a technical background, I don't think there's anything that's going to say, oh no, I need this from you because you're obviously trainable. You're obviously smart enough to do the job. So at worst, I might say, okay, I don't really want to spend 3 weeks teaching you PLCs. So why don't I just have an instructor over in Atlanta say, hey, but here's a week long seminar. Go get up to speed.
Yeah.
And then what's even better is that you'll get to teach me some stuff that I don't know too. Because I like a lot of the stuff I know is now, what is it, 13 years old. Because I didn't know anything when I
Yeah.
got on. I learned it as we were doing it. It was nice enough that because the pace where we were at, it was not so hard for me to learn the stuff. And then there's a lot more things I was like, oh man, if I look at the way I code PLCs now compared to what I was doing then, I was like, oh my gosh, so many mistakes. And we had we were tracking one of our systems at one of our sites. This is before I built it, right? So there's PLC work going on before I got
Mhm.
on, and there's no documentation. And there's like, and we're trying to trace this thing down, and we're spending days trying to not reboot the PLC because the PLC is so old. And we're like, what if
Might
it
not come
doesn't
back
take the
online. Yeah.
we're
Ugh.
like, oh my gosh. And so we're running up, we have a deadline. We gotta get it fixed by this time because we have to have this one part working. We're like, oh man. So we had this little plan, like, okay, if it doesn't take, this is what we're gonna do. And if it does take, we're just gonna celebrate. And it took. So we're like, oh. And so we backed everything up. We wrote documentation as best we could, and we moved back to the other priorities that we had. But it was just like, we were prepared to do a lot of work every
But
day.
like, I'm thinking if you're a technical person in the military, like that story resonates, you know? And as you're
Uh,
smiling the whole
uh,
time talking about it, right? Because it was a challenge. You
yeah,
overcame it, and that's part of the fun.
yeah,
It may
yeah.
not feel like it at the moment, but when you're done, it's a great story. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then we talked about, I just said hey, it's not a heavy travel job, but there is opportunities to meet with clients, right? It's not like you're going out for weeks on end, but you may go out for a couple days here and there throughout the year, right?
yeah, that's for
Yeah.
sure. That's for sure. And the other thing and I mentioned this earlier, but like we do have other needs that will come up periodically, and we have other parts of the company have different campuses, and there's a medical side of this company,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's not the nuclear side, and we have a campus in DR, and they're they're we got to go fix some stuff down there, and they were trying to send some people down. They didn't get it solved, and I was like, ah, man, I need somebody that knows how to like act like an engineer, think systems, and then look at the plan holistically and say, hey, this isn't working. Let's solve it. And then the other problem with going to the Dominican Republic is like there's no Home Depot. So
Yeah. I've been there.
if you want a part, like if you want a part and you want to replace some stuff, it's a little bit harder to go get a machinist
Yeah.
or yeah, things take a little bit longer. So like I want to be extra careful when we go, okay, but just go inspect first and then come back quick, but take a long time, take a lot of good pictures, and we'll go back with the things
Yeah.
that we
Measure
need.
twice. Yeah. My grandfather was a
Uh,
carpenter. So measure twice, cut once, right?
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, maybe measure three
Yeah.
times.
Four or
I don't know.
five.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Obviously,
But same tape
yeah. Well,
measure though.
obviously, if you're watching this video, you can tell the culture there. is great. The guys like to have fun and work hard. I think one last thing I didn't cover is what's the team look like, right? So if you're coming into this team as a project engineer, who are they interacting with? What do their team look like?
Yeah, right now I've got a chemical engineer, and he's been with us as long as so the fun story about him was he's from Korea. He's got a PhD in chemical engineering, and he was copying our process, and the owners got wind of it. They're like, hey, someone's copying this process, and like, what do we do about it? Let's hire
Yeah.
them. And uh,
Oh, I love it.
so, and because he realized some things about our fabric that we didn't even know. We're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And he's totally violating the patent laws, the international patent laws, but this guy's brilliant. So we got that guy on board. We have a drafter, and we have some maintenance people that are close knit to what we do in the engineering side as we affect operations. But
Also,
it's
it's a tight group.
it's really
Yeah,
yeah, it's real
that's
tight.
great. I think I have everything I need, right? If you're the right person, you're going to
Yeah.
obviously gel with James, you're going to get it. Is there anything you want them to know about you, the company, the role, anything before they make a decision to hit the apply button or not?
It's it is a little bit of a culture shock getting down here because like I'm from New
Yep.
Jersey, and and I came down here and my wife was like, let's make some kids. And so I'm happy that I moved down here because I like the pace and I like the culture for raising kids. Um, but if you kind of are like a party
Yeah.
guy, like maybe it's
Yeah.
not like there's not a whole big, there's not a big
Yeah.
party scene. So I will say that. However, if you are a party guy, like the Panama City and Destin are like, and like an hour and a half drive or 2 hours away. So it's not that like, it's not awful,
But if you're
but
in your boat where you're
just,
getting
I,
out,
I,
you're at the part of starting a family and you want to start a career, not like this,
yeah.
this is the best place.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, as soon as I got here and we were like, we settled in and we're like, okay, all right, I'm just going to be here. This
Great.
is, and the company's growing. So I was like, all right, all three of my kids are here and they were all born here. And I was like, we like it. We moved away for a little bit just after COVID. We were like, we'll move back family. And then we're like, you know what? I
Yeah.
actually like it. I like it. I like it back a little more. So we moved back.
I'm a small guy. I grew up in a village, 320 people. So I believe in small town, small community. That's great. Well, James,
Yeah.
thanks again. I knew this would be a great conversation. Knowing you since you transitioned out of uniform, watching your growth there, watch what ETI is accomplishing. So, as soon as we find that right veteran for you, we're going to send them to you. I can't wait to get started.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I can't wait.